Hello, everyone. This is Demon Overlord 77 coming at you with a miniature review and unboxing today. Today we will be going over my recent purchase of the Dungeons of the Mad Mage minis, and let's show you guys what I got here. So my first big guy I got was this. This is Oto, I believe is the name Oto, number 26 of 44. It is a type of fairy dragon. Very cool mini here. Very cool. Definitely glad I got him. I love dragons of all shapes and sorts. Really, getting dragon minis is always cool. Very cool. I like the big old stinger here on the bottom. If you see the stinger, maybe I shouldn't have used such a white colored background for this. Oh well. This is also my new setup for the things like I got the books in the back for monster bestiaries and like nice little ground here. Really cool large size mini. I wish it was more like a more huge size because we're seeing other large dragons. If we take a look here, luckily I'm also next to my miniature storage, so I can also pull these guys. This is like a green dragon from Tyranny of Dragons. As you can see, it's still slightly taller than him, even with his crazy long stick base, which I'm hoping that D&D is moving away from those. Because whenever they fall or drop, which you're not aiming to, but they can hit and snap, and then once they do, you're usually completely screwed, and now you have a broken mini you have to just set on the board, or you're going to have to like glue him to his base. That looks really stupid and like really weird. But I like this style here. I really do love these like new floating patterns they do with these translucent floatings because they're nice and thick and it feels very solid. Like if I try this one and I do that, it feels like any second if I push too much pressure, it's gonna snap right off. So that's just my opinion. But I think in the end, this is really interesting to have a fairy dragon of such a large size. Maybe he's like a specialty dragon. I don't know. Maybe in the game when they get violet, since I did read the manual on these guys, it doesn't really seem to show information about what happens to fairy dragons when they get bigger and bigger. Like if they get bigger, like they just seem to have the color changes of age. So maybe like when they get really ancient class and all more mature, they get bigger. So really cool. I just thought it was really cool to get this bad boy here. See if we can get the camera focusing on him a bit. Okay, everything's not going to. Well, whatever. I don't need it to. Luckily, my close enough. Let's see here. He's out of the way because he's not part of this video. He was just for review purposes. Okay, so we'll set him right over here. I feel he'd be on the land. And let's start with some of the small minis. So first up, we have the. This is the. What are they called again? The. Get my camera to autofocus. Anyway, we have the Thug Leader. Nice crossbow shooter there. Really nice mini. Very cool. Another one we have is actually a mini I didn't think they were actually going to do this. It's the Piercer. As you can see, this little tiny guy there, a little Piercer. Should better if I do that. Yeah, a little Piercer. And I do know these in the Monster Manual. They are basically baby ropers. And when they grow up, they become ropers. And they just fall down and pierce you. And then they start drinking and eating you like a liquid shake, so to speak, if I remember correctly. And another one we have is a newer mini. It is the Gnome Inquisitive. This is like a basically Indiana Jones of gnomes. She's like a cute little girl with a nice little translucency of the magnifying glass there. You can see like the different color changes that go behind it. It's got a cool little wand, so maybe she's a magic caster of some sort. Really cool. And over here and then we're going to get to another big dog. We have the Minotaur Skeleton. This is the Great Axe variety, if I remember correctly. There is a hammer one out there. I've seen that in other videos. So the Minotaur Skeleton, 32A of 44. I really do like this guy, because you can never use enough Minotaur Skeletons, and the older ones are way too expensive for me to buy at the miniature market. But I'm going to do a quick little reference here with this is a Reaper mini, so yes, it is not Wizard of the Coast, but, as you can see for size-wise, it's not too far off. It's about the same size. Really cool mini, I don't see any real issue of using it. It's going to definitely be a good stand-in for a cool skeletal undead enemy for your group to face. So let's bring up some more minis. Anyway, back to the mini thing. We have the, how do you pronounce her? The Hero Hag? Well, really long-armed hag. I've seen her before in one of the books, I swear. I just can't remember where. I can't remember if it was Tome of Foes here, or if it was in like one of the Mordecai's to Guildmasters. I don't remember, but I'll look it up again. Very cool mini. I like her really long arms. Maybe gives her like, a reach of 10 feet for a scratch attack. versus like just the 5. Because I mean, really creepy face. Like she's got that really creepy little dark eyes. Really creepy, but really cool. Always need more hags. I mean, hags are important since they, do some cool stuff. Another mini we have is another undead mini. Technically, it is the Shadow with a nice translucency. As you can see, like you can see the finger moving behind it. Very cool little skull face. I mean, it's the first Shadow mini I've actually seen. That's pretty cool. I mean, it is a little unstable. Like if you drop it just right, it will fall. It is a little back heavy, but for the coolness of the design, I think you can set a tiny mini in here, and it can be his Shadow. But pretty cool. I mean, I believe that's what the purpose is. I'm not 100% on that, just because I put tinies in there and they don't really seem to work. Like they'll sit in there, but like they kind of sit a little awkward, as you can see. So I mean, if you wanted a Shadow to follow a gnome. Anyway, moving on. We're not going to take forever with that. Another one up we have is the special human Storm Sorcerer with the cool little translucency there. Very nice little guy here with his little translucent spell effect. Really cool. Yeah, very awesome. Anyway, let's see here. We're going to get to another big guy here in a second. We have the Muriel. And I know what you're thinking, really. And it's actually, I've done a lot of, like, looks here. It's got to be, I mean, it has to be female for it to be called Muriel. If that's, like, a named person. I mean, it's definitely those centaur scorpion people. I've only heard of them. I don't know if I think maybe it was in Tomofos they were in there. But, pretty cool monster. I mean, the paint job is a little bit to be desired. I mean, I wish in this part right around here, like on some of this back stuff, they dark like a dark brown, like kind of like a shell brown. I mean, if we're going to compare it, I mean, something a little bit more like this giant scorpion from Tomb of Annihilation would have probably been a better choice. That color on the back, at least. Because, I mean, it would have helped give it a nice translucent color. I mean, obviously, this thing might rule over scorpions like that, make them its slave. Really cool. Upon that note, I am going to do another big guy right here, which is the Scaladar, which is this cool, like, robotic scorpion. As you can see, like, maybe they could work together. Maybe this thing would serve the Muriel since they're an intelligent species. But, I mean, let's compare him to the large class, since he's huge class, of a scorpion. I mean, way more improving power, cool lightning arc effect, like really awesome. I mean, obviously he would waste any creature that gets in his path. Really cool. Definitely not at all disappointing because I really did kind of want the Scaladar when I saw him in videos. The Muriel, it's kind of a toss-up. It was an okay thing to get. It wasn't exactly what I was looking for, but, it is what it is. I'll take a good mini if I can get a good mini, Muriel's not too bad. Scaladar is awesome, but the Muriel. Next up we're going to bring up is kind of what was a disappointment to some people, the Gray Ooze here. It was sort of sad to people because they were like, oh, well, it's not that great. And they've seen people make these things with, like, super glue and stuff. And I go, or the hot glue, and they, like, row it and stuff, and it makes this. And I go, hey, you know what, though? You got to get a Gray Ooze. An Ooze is an Ooze mini. You don't see many official D&D Ooze minis out there. And not really ones you can get because they've all been snatched up pretty much. And the ones being sold are ridiculous in price. But yeah, cool Gray Ooze. Very cool mini. I mean, there's not much to say on it. I mean, it's got a couple probably little like details. Like, it's got like I think a little sliminess to it. That's about it. Like little mouths and reaching tentacles. So I don't know. And next up we have another hag. So I did get a dupe of a hag here. I mean, I'm not going to review it too much because that. But you know what I will do here, since we have these two hags, I'm going to bring them up next to the biggest hags in my opinion. Probably the top of the hags, the Annis hag. This is from the Waterdeep as well, since they're both Waterdeep. You got this cool big hag. She's very huge next to like other minis. And then if we do a size comparison here quick, she's definitely way size bigger. Probably would be the top of the hag culture. I see her being like more in the top range because she's got this huge size to her. Maybe the night hag would be the only thing that compete with her superiority. I do have green hags out there somewhere. I just couldn't find them before I started my video, and I'm not going to rummage around while I'm doing this for you people. So we're going to just get back to this. Another one up here people thought was stupid. And we're like, why did they make this dumb creature? But I thought it was cool. The Flumph. You might be looking at me going like, really? The Flumph? It's like, I like the Flumph. It's a cute little critter. It could be a helpful NPC for your characters to run across and have it assist. Actually, yeah, he looks somewhere. See him on the blue water. Keep him there. Another mini up here we have is the Veteran Leader. Very nice little mini here. I mean, I like him. He's pretty cool. The veteran. Anyway, he's obviously a fighter class with 2 swords. Definitely a fighter class veteran. So if you want something to be a catch up to the group without being super low level, maybe use that as their NPC because it says veteran on it. That way it helps the group know, hey, he's a veteran. The next one we're going to bring up here is a dupe, another dupe. So we're going to kind of bring them up together. And it is this guy here. This is the Berserker. Just a man with a big axe. Pretty cool looking dude. I mean, he's not bad in his sculpt and everything. I mean, obviously this one's axe is a little bit warped, but you can always fix that later. But I'll have to touch up one of them, give him like a little different coloration so he's not the same as this guy if I put them both on the board. So like they're in a group of maybe they're with the bandit thug there. Those bandits, and they do that. We're gonna bring up my second bandit or thug leader, just because I have 2 of them. So they were another dupe I got in this box. Kind of a shame, but they're pretty cool still. Thugs and bad guys are pretty cool. There seems to be a lot of human NPCs in this set for the small guys, which is kind of cool. And that brings me to the next guy. This is the regular thug. Just a regular thug. He's the second. He's number 2 of the set. I don't know what number 1 is. Maybe I'll have to look him up. I'm obviously not putting them in order either. I'm just putting them next to what they would probably sit next to. Like these hags would probably be all by themselves right here. The human would be chilling with these humans here. The flump would be okay by itself here, but close. Gray oozes would definitely be over here with like by the shadow, not interacting with humans, and the piercer too. Fairy dragon would be probably closer to the humans because they actually kind of like people. There you go. And weird, I'm doing this organizational now, but it is what it is. Okay, you can't see my Skaldari, so actually we'll put them in the blood altar because that seems like where they'd be. Anyway, we got the cool thug here. I mean, he's a nice little thug, nice little mace piece here. I'm not sure why they have these silvery heads on them. I don't know if they have if it's them having a type of what's the word I'm looking for, like an undead or like a metal helmet. But it's an interesting piece. I mean, interesting nonetheless. We're going to bring up one of my favorite little minis I got in here, and that is the Grung mini. This is such a cool little guy. Like, just so cool. I really do like the Grung. He's really cool. He's a cool little dude. I'm going for my light. There you go. Really cool little guy. I like these Grungs. They're very sweet little buggers. Like, just really cool little critters. The Grung. I guess they'll sit there. And another one that was really cool is I got this guy, the Grung Elite. So I got the 2 Grungs of the set. I don't know if the red Grung's in there. He might be. Maybe if I get a picture of the whole set and what they are, I'll know. I mean, so far, though, these guys, these were a lot of uncommons. I don't think any of these guys were really rare, as far as I know of. As far as I know, I think he was like the most uncommon, though, to get him. Anyway, moving along. We are going to bring up a rare mini, though. This one, apparently, is a rare mini. It is this weird humanoid female. She's stuck to the actual flight piece, which is really nice, so she's not like at all flimsy. Her wings are a little bit touchy. I mean, she's really interesting looking sculpt. This weird hat, her face peeking out right there. It's like Arcturia, some type of spirit, maybe. If I had the Dungeon Mage thing, maybe I could find out her character's thing. I mean, really cool, though, for a mini. She's really cool, honestly. We did get another of the Storm Sorcerer. Kind of a shame, but you know what? I mean, if I touch them up, I can use them with different characters. Make one Storm Sorcerer. Another one here we're going to show you. This is another dupe set that I got dupes of. These are the Intellect Devourers. Very tiny little critters. I guess D&D thought they had to have another launch of them. It was like a redo. Their only real difference versus the other ones, they have these redder legs, like and a little bit redder bodies. So they're a little bit darker. But, I guess, if you're going to have more creatures, and Intellect Devourers probably would be around the maze. Here's one that I think is kind of more of an interesting thing. It is the animated object or the floating sword. Or flying sword, sorry. But yeah, you could use it for tons of things, like a magical sword sitting in a dungeon, just like, you walk up to the sword. It's a floating sword. Like, do you grab it? Surprise, it attacks you. Something cool like that. Very interesting little sword there. Let's see if I can put a spot where you'll... Yeah, it works better on the blue water background. Should use the darker tiles. Anyway, next up we got the cleric, the elf cleric of the grave. So technically a cleric, I think just a dark cleric. You could use it as a bard character because Does have this really nice guitar in the back. I did get dupes of this guy or girl. Like I said, it's hard to tell with elves. They have the very similar sculpt. They're female sculpts. But, very cool to get some more elves, I guess. Maybe, like I said, maybe I'll touch up these dupes and make them a little different so that way their characters on the board don't go like, I'm going to tag that one, no, that one. And we avoid that annoyance. But we have another veteran, though. This is the female veteran. She's like probably a warrior. She could be a fighter. Maybe not a paladin because she's not like no shield and heavy armor. So probably a fighter. Maybe like, I don't know what veteran she could be. Probably a fighter class. Probably one that went on the path of only using a single sword. Up next, we have a undead guy. It is the Revenant. Interesting mini. It could be a character if you really want to have someone be a Revenant. I think as they get stronger, they actually get weaker. Like as they level up, they get weaker and weaker until they die. So it'd be a weird character to play, but really cool. I've seen the variant as like a darker cloak and it holds a noose. So, pretty cool. There's not much to talk about. He's just like a plain guy with a cloak. He's like a human with a cloak. You could use him maybe as a vampire stand-in if you needed to. Next up, we're going to bring up another PC or NPC. It is the Berserker female version. She's just got her little tuft of golden reddish hair. She's got a big great axe too. Really nice. She's nice and different. So if we put her up next to this guy, for comparison, they are a little bit different. They're similar, obviously, in their sculpt, but a little different. So it's all that matters. They're at least a little bit different. And they are considered like variants, so they are separate minis. They're not variants of each other, which is a good thing. Up here we have the Tiefling Blade Master. This could definitely be a paladin to the group, maybe a fighter class Tiefling. And it's nice to see a Tiefling. She's a pretty good looking female Tiefling too. And it's just nice because you need more Tieflings. Like there's not a lot of Tiefling minis out there. I have Tiefling minis, but they're unpainted minis because they only come that way. It's the only way I've ever gotten them is through the unpainted part. I've never seen a mini that's a Tiefling that isn't super expensive either. I did get a dupe for her, as you can see. Here in a second. I did have to repair her, which is another reason why I'm kind of glad I did this video like this, because she was not attached to her base. She was simply popped off, but a little super glue, and she looks good. Another one here. This is actually a rare mini, and this is the one of the Shadow Dusk characters. This is Zelthar. I think the other one has a different name. He's got like a downward sword and a different shield, but he's more like that classic knight from old fairy tales. He's got that nice full armor, definitely paladin class. Got the helmet with the little slots for the face and a little plume coming off there. Very nice mini. He could definitely be a good PC as well if someone to be that. I did get another of the gnome inquisitives. Sort of a shame, but you know what? What are you gonna do with gnomes? They're some gnomes. Maybe I can use them as twin sisters who do that stuff. I don't know. Another big guy we're going to break up here is the Froghemoth. A very good mini. I really liked him. Ooh, that light is going right down his mouth to illuminate. Awesome. Oh, yeah, but I really like the old little eye stalk here. He's probably going to have an advantage on stealth in like swamps because he can hide in the water and deep mud with his little stalk sticking up to see. He's got tentacles, so he probably have like advantage on the stealth attack because, they snake in nice and slap you. He's also got that nice grasping tongue, as you can see the little bulbs here for grasping. Really cool little bulbs. He's got great texture. He's got this really nice texture to his skin. He actually has like a slimy-ish feel almost and a bumpy texture where like a frog would have. So really cool. Obviously this is an aberration. I know someone's probably going to be like, oh, that's not an aberration. Oh, yes, that's an aberration. Like that screams aberration in a nutshell. Another one here we're going to bring up. One of the other ones I was super happy to pull out, the Behir. A classic monster from D&D, super awesome. The enemy to dragons, the possible pet to giants. Could even hate the giants if you want to make it like it's a wild one, which I think they usually normally are. Usually I think only a storm giant or cloud giant could have these things normally be a pet nowadays because of the whole after the Great Dragon Dawn Wars. Of course, depending on where you have your campaign set up in. I really like the sliminess look to him, like the soft, sort of snaky like slime skin going there. These nice big scales on his back that blend in. They're not super popped out, which is kind of good because this creature is supposed to be like pretty cool. Like it crawls all over stuff and gets up to you, shoots lightning, can tank lightning attacks. I think it actually heals it if I remember correctly. Or that might be flesh golems. Well, whatever. Immune to lightning though, so it doesn't hurt him. Really cool mini. Nice profile move from the front. I did notice he does have kind of that doggish face. because these look like ears, like rounded ears on a dog. But, you know, it's still really cool. I wish the horns were a little bit more popped out, but you know what? Still, awesome to have a Bahir Mini. That is huge class and awesome. We're going to bring up one of these guys. I did get two of them, so I'll bring them both up. They are the Garistros. I did get two of these bad boys, which isn't such a problem. The Garistro is a huge class siege demon, which is pretty cool. They are basically siege engines. You let them go on an enemy and they just fight it out. Like really cool big guys. I'm not a problem to get two of them. Maybe I'll touch up one of them with some like gold, make him a little different. Maybe like a higher class Garistro. Throw him over there. Anyway, so that's it. What we got so far. We are down to our last two, sadly, for my video for you folks. Actually, one more quick thing. Let me just do a quick Bahir thing. This is the Bahir I have now, and this is the Bahir I had before. This is obviously a Reaper Mini. I had to base and get it all printed. Obviously, very similar in their huge size. Their bases are both technically huge, but this Bahir I definitely like more than my Bahir. Not that I'm saying mine is painted horribly. It's just that, this is the D&D Bahir, and this would probably be like a variant Bahir. Maybe this would be more like a primal Bahir. This would be more like the perfected Bahir. Like maybe this is a proto Bahir. Like maybe this is like a survivor from the old Dawn War, like the old Dragon Giant Wars. After the Primordials had finished fighting, the dragons were fighting these. Maybe these things were getting pumped out like kind of quick, rapid, so they weren't really cleaned out and scaled down. Like I just made them a little colorful because that's just me. More like a dragon look to them. But yeah, so anyway, really cool. I also want to do one thing with these Garistros. Let's compare them to another huge mini, which is this Storm Giant here. As you can see, if we took these two and put them up together as an enemy, they could pretty much wrestle head to head. These guys could fight head on. Now, would the Garistro win? I don't know. Its strength stats are surprisingly low, which is what weirds me out. It's weird. It's going to be lower than my next creature, which kind of weirds me out. The Garistro is so much bigger than this creature, but he's weaker. And that is the Baylor. This is another rare mini in the set. I was kind of glad to get the Baylor. I didn't know he was in it, but cool to get him. He's definitely a rare mini. He's like, I think I've seen him on Miniature Mart going for like $43, so he's definitely pretty rare. He's got a lot of detail to him, as you can see, a lot of detail. There are 43 or 44, so he's almost the final mini. I did want to get some cool things like him. Got this really nice translucent fire whip going there. It's not as translucent, but then he's got the nice lightning sword, which is an obvious lightning sword, versus other ones that just have like a weird rounded edge sword. Older Baylor I'm talking about is like the one from like the Wrath of Chardalon, I think it was, where you had that red dragon and the Baylor were in it. And it was kind of okay, to be honest. It was okay, but that Baylor to me always seemed like it was way too big. But now I'm starting to wonder. Let's do a quick size comparison of his natural enemy, the Pit Fiends. These are from Waterdeep as well, so they were always. That's why I believe some people have gone, why is he so much smaller than older Baylors? Like older Baylors are a little bit bulkier and bigger. Why is he shorter? I go, well, I think it's to make him in size scale with these Pit Fiends. Since Pit Fiends would be the natural enemy to the Baylor, if he was going to fight them head to head, since the Pit Fiend is basically the bane of all high-level demons, as demons and devils are fighting, these two would take each other on. Obviously, with them having the same strength, you could have a similar wrestling match, but this guy would have advantage because he is a whole size bigger than him. Maybe that's why you throw in maybe two of them like this, which, yes, I have the variety of mace and unmaced. And maybe they could, work together to take this Baylor down, kill it. Since they are immune to fire, just like he is immune to fire, it could damage him pretty good. And when he blows up, they could block the flames so it wouldn't hurt their allies or their other soldiers like Ice Devils, who are a good ally to have, but they are weak to fire. But yeah, really cool to get the Baylor. He was a rare mini I didn't know existed, but really cool. I snagged him. Really awesome he happened to come out of that unboxing. And then next up, we're going to bring up one of the big dogs who I really thought was awesome I got. The Zombie Beholder. That's right. I got lucky and got another Beholder. This is the Zombie Beholder. Really cool mini. I love the glossy eye look here. This yellow, all the eyes are all glossy. The sliminess look to him. He just looks like he's a slimy, disgusting fiend. All of his large spikes you usually see on Beholders are all gone. They've fallen off. These are the last ones to hold. These kind of beardy spikes. His mouth looks really gross. As you can see in there, it's got a little reddish tone to it, but it's leveled out to the rest of the body almost. It's really gross. You've got some little slimy tacks sticking off there. little sliminess to him. Really awesome. And I do love that he's got a square version of this, so it's a little different, but like a nice solid feel. He feels very solid to his base. He's very similar to my unpainted mini that I painted of a beholder. This is a beholder I painted myself. I actually do keep the lens there. I know a lot of people don't like having the lens in there, but I like because it protects his eye from anything scraping it in there. So yeah, this is mine. I mean, he's got that style. If we compare him in size, he's obviously a little bit smaller, but remember, this is a dead creature. This is a zombie. It has been decaying and rotting for a while. And then we're going to compare him to the more rare mini I have, which is this guy, the beholder that I believe is actually used for the inspiration on all those ceiling mounted beholders you see around places at like card shops. I'd love to get one of those. But yeah, you see like how much smaller he is than him too. Because this would probably be like the bigger size of the beholder. This would be like a more powerful beholder than say this one. He'd be like the top or dog to this one. Yeah, I don't like this peg base. I really don't like this because they always feel like they wobble and shit like that. It always bugs me a bit. But really cool that they got this beholder. I mean, like if we compare them, like different stages, maybe like fresh, maybe a little bit older, and then dead. Dead, undead zombie. Really bad if you come across this guy in a fight because any necromancer that can summon that bad boy, he's going to have an edge on you since he can summon a beholder that can shoot eye rays still. They're random though, which is the sad part for the beholder. But yeah, really cool. And that's the whole horde here, guys. Let's get a little shut down. As you can see, I do have all these guidebooks of monsters here. So that's everything we got there, guys. Stay tuned for any more videos I decide to post. If I do any more unboxings, maybe. I think I have a Tomb of Annihilation brick coming up. Since it's one I ordered because I thought, why not get some of those old bad boys? It's got those cool, jungle creatures. But, really awesome. I got these. I got a lot of PCs, NPCs. Got some oozes, some awesome, cool swamp beasts here. We got some more hags. We're making a hag coven if we want to go that route. We got a cool mecha beast here. Maybe even the group could find a way to control it. Like if they defeat it, maybe instead of it dying, it just falls over on, like they happen to pull out the control circuit, and then they could rewire it if someone wanted to give it a shot. You got the cool Baylor here, which is way more detailed than older Baylors I've seen. He's got a lot more like personality. You got the awesome new Dragon Edition and the Dragon Weapon or Anti-Dragon Monster. We got another Beholder added to mine. I now have 3 Beholders, so really awesome. Anyway, guys, like I said, if you want to follow me on Twitter, I'm at 01Berserker, or 01Berserker, sorry. And if you want to follow my channel, definitely do. I'll put more stuff on there. One advantage to being a Twitter follower, though, you will see these first before my YouTube video because I like to give them a little bit of a joy for my Twitter followers. Love for my followers, as they say. And anyway, guys, please do check out our podcast where we use these minis on the table. Someday we're working on getting a camera installed, like for the group to use. That way we can give you guys video of our game board so you can see all the stuff we do. Because, we pump a lot of work into getting cool minis like this, and we do use them. It's just, you kind of have to listen. Like, I post a few things on Twitter of how the board looks. Like, I did that with our dinosaur we last fought. We fought a Tyrannosaurus. Took some pictures of him with minis in his mouth and stuff. I'm pretty much like the miniature mover guy, which is all cool. I'm good with that. I help out the DM that way. I help him with monsters and lore and stuff like that. I have no problem doing that. Yeah, it kind of screws our group over, but hey, I just find it fun. Even when I fall for our own stuff, I find it funny. But yeah, really cool. I got some rare guys here. I got like the rare Beholder, this Arcana girl. I know there's some other rares in here. I didn't point them out maybe, but pretty cool though. Anyway, guys, like I said, this is an awesome set. Definitely recommend if you're looking for a good bump to your miniatures. Definitely would increase your inventory for your game. So anyway, guys, I give this a 2 thumbs up. Definitely shout out to WizKids here. Great looking pieces. So WizKids, NECA, definitely love it. Wizards of the Coast, you guys are awesome. Keep pumping them out, guys. And stay tuned for my next review. Anyway, guys, bye-bye. And remember, for our podcast is the Dice and Dummies. So please leave us a review. We always need them. Bye-bye.